The morning shift on Kepler station started like any other day. Captain Maria Santos walked through the central plaza, watching children play near the fountain while their parents headed to work in the mining facilities. The artificial sky showed a soft blue color, programmed to help the colonists feel at home despite being 300 light-years from Earth. Santos checked her watch. The supply ship from Earth was due to arrive in 6 hours. 50,000 people called Kepler Station home now, making it humanity's largest settlement outside the solar system. The station orbited a gas giant rich in helium-3, fuel that kept Earth's fusion reactors running. Another quiet day in paradise, Santos said to her assistant, Lieutenant Commander James Park, as they walked toward the command center. Park smiled. The miners are ahead of schedule this month. The new extraction equipment is working better than expected. Santos nodded. 3 years of peaceful operations had made them all comfortable. The galaxy seemed empty except for humans. No signs of alien life anywhere, despite decades of searching. Some scientists thought humans might be alone in the universe. They were wrong. The first sign of trouble came from the outer sensor array. Technician First Class Chen Wei was monitoring the deep space scanners when her screen lit up with contacts. Dozens of them, moving fast toward the station. "Captain Santos to the command center. Emergency!" Chen's voice cracked over the intercom. Santos and Park ran to the command center. Chen pointed at her screen with a shaking hand. "Ma'am, I'm reading 47 ships approaching our position. They're big, and they're not responding to our hails." Santos stared at the display. The ships were massive, each one larger than Kepler Station itself. Their design was unlike anything in human databases. Sharp angles, dark metal, and energy. Readings that made no sense. "How long until they reach us?" Santos asked. 18 minutes at current speed," Chen replied. Santos grabbed the communications console. "This is Captain Maria Santos of Kepler Station to approaching vessels. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. We are a peaceful mining colony." Only Static answered. Park was already at the defense console. "Captain, our weapons are designed for asteroid clearing, not ship-to-ship combat." "I know," Santos said. She opened the general alarm. Throughout the station, warning lights flashed red. "All civilians to emergency shelters. This is not a drill." The alien ships slowed as they approached. They formed a perfect circle around Kepler Station, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. Each ship was at least 2 kilometers long, bristling, with weapons that humans had never seen before. Santos tried the radio again. "Unknown vessels, this is Captain Santos. We are civilians. We have no military installations here. Please respond." A new voice filled the command center. It spoke in perfect English, but the tone was cold and mechanical. Human settlement designated for termination. Evacuation not permitted. Resistance is futile. Park grabbed Santos's arm. "Captain, we need to get people to the escape pods." Santos shook her head. 50,000 people, James. We have maybe 200 escape pods, each holding 20 people maximum. We can't save everyone." The alien voice spoke again. "Commencing sterilization protocol in 60 seconds. Santos hit the emergency broadcast button. Her voice echoed through every speaker on the station. "All citizens of Kepler Station, this is Captain Santos. We are under attack by unknown hostile forces. Get to the emergency shelters immediately. Send any messages to your families now. God help us all." The countdown reached 0. The first alien ship fired. A beam of blue-white energy struck the station's outer ring. The metal didn't just melt, it turned to vapor instantly. Entire sections of the station disappeared in seconds. More beams followed. The aliens fired with precise timing, working their way inward. They weren't trying to destroy the station quickly. They were taking their time, making sure nothing survived. Santos watched the destruction on her screens. The civilian quarters were gone. The schools, the parks, the hospital, all reduced to glowing gas. Emergency shelters that were supposed to protect against asteroid impacts offered no defense against alien weapons. "My God," Park whispered. "They're not trying to capture us. They're exterminating us." The station shook as another section vanished. The artificial gravity failed in some areas. People floated helplessly in corridors that no longer had floors or ceilings. Chen was still at her post, fingers flying over her console. "Captain, I'm getting the emergency beacon ready. Maybe someone will hear it." Santos nodded. "Do it. Send. Everything. Ship designs, weapons data, tactical information. Someone needs to know what happened here." The beacon launched just as the alien weapons reached the command center. Santos felt the temperature rising as the walls began to glow. She grabbed the microphone one last time. "This is Captain Maria Santos. Final log. Kepler station is under attack by hostile alien forces. They gave no warning, no demands, no chance to surrender. They are systematically destroying our entire colony. Tell Earth. Tell them we tried to..." The transmission cut to static. 300 light-years away. Commander Sarah Chen of the UES Nightborne was reviewing navigation charts when her communications officer called out. "Commander, we're receiving an emergency beacon from Kepler station. It's bad, ma'am." Chen moved to the communications station. Lieutenant Torres was pale as he played back the transmission. "This is Captain Maria Santos. Final log. Kepler. Station is under attack by hostile alien forces." The bridge fell silent as Santos's last words faded to static. Chen stared at the communications display, her mind struggling to process what she'd heard. "When was this transmitted?" Chen asked. "Signal originated 43 minutes ago, ma'am. But with the distance, the attack would have started over 3 hours ago." Chen felt ice in her stomach. "Any other signals from Kepler station?" Torres shook his head. "Nothing, ma'am. Complete radio silence." Chief Navigator Williams looked up from his station. "Commander, we're 18 hours away at maximum burn. If there are survivors..." "Plot a course," Chen ordered. "Emergency speed. All hands to battle stations." The UES Nightborne was humanity's newest destroyer equipped with experimental engines and the most advanced sensors in the fleet. She was fast, stealthy, and deadly. But she had been built to fight human pirates and raiders, not alien war machines. As the ship accelerated toward Kepler station, Chen studied the data from the emergency beacon. The alien ships were enormous, their technology far beyond human capabilities. Their weapons could vaporize metal instantly. Worse, they had spoken English, which meant they had been watching humanity for some time. "Commander," her tactical officer called out. "I'm analyzing the weapon signatures from the beacon data. These energy readings, I've never seen anything like them." Chen nodded grimly. "Neither has anyone else, Lieutenant. We're dealing with something completely new." The hours passed slowly. Chen paced the bridge, reviewing every piece of data they had. The aliens had given no warning, made no demands, attempted no communication beyond the termination order. This wasn't conquest or robbery. This was extermination. "Commander, we're approaching Kepler station," Williams announced. "Long-range sensors are..." Jesus Christ. On the main screen, Kepler station appeared, or what was left of it. The massive mining platform had been reduced to a slowly expanding cloud of metallic vapor. Chunks of debris, some still glowing red-hot, drifted in loose orbits around the gas giant. "Life signs?" Chen asked quietly. The sensor officer worked, his console frantically. "None, ma'am. I'm not reading any escape pods, any intact sections, anything. It's all gone." Chen stared at the display. 50,000 people had lived and worked here yesterday. Now there was nothing but cooling metal and empty space. "Commander, I'm detecting residual energy signatures," the tactical officer reported. "The alien weapons left traces, very distinctive patterns. Can you track them?" "Yes, ma'am. The trails are fading, but I can follow them for now. Looks like the alien fleet left about 2 hours ago, heading toward the Centauri sector." Chen made Her decision. The UES Nightborne was just one ship against an entire alien fleet. By all logical thinking, she should return to Earth and report what they'd found. Let the Admiralty decide how to respond. But logic wasn't what made humans dangerous. Set course to follow those energy signatures, Chen ordered. We're going hunting. Her, First Officer Commander Roberts, stepped closer. Sarah, that's an entire alien battle fleet. We don't know their capabilities, their numbers, their intentions. Chen turned to face him, her eyes hard as steel. I know their intentions, Marcus. I just watched them murder 50,000 civilians without warning. That's all I need to know. The bridge crew looked at their commander. They all understood what she was asking. The Nightborne was fast and well-armed, but she was designed for hit-and-run attacks against human ships. The aliens had weapons that could vaporize a space station in minutes. Ma'am, the tactical officer spoke up. There is one advantage we might have. Our stealth systems are completely different from anything the aliens scanned at Kepler Station. They might not be able to detect us as easily as they detected the station. Chen nodded. That's what I'm counting on, Lieutenant. They think they know what humans are capable of. They're about to learn they're wrong. The UES Nightborne turned away from the debris field that had once been humanity's proudest colony. Her engines glowed brighter as she accelerated into the dark between stars, following the trail of the aliens who had committed genocide. Behind them, the wreckage of Kepler Station continued its slow drift around the gas giant. In the cold vacuum, there was no sound, no monument, no grave marker for the 50,000 souls who had died without warning. But their deaths would not go unanswered. Commander Sarah Chen had made a promise in the silence of space, and she intended to keep it. The aliens had started a war they didn't understand, against an enemy they had underestimated. They were about to learn why that was a fatal mistake. The UES Nightborne cut through space like a knife through water. Her experimental quantum drive pushed the ship far beyond normal speed limits, but Commander Sarah Chen demanded more. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Kowalski watched temperature. Readings climb into the red zone. Commander, the drive is running at 112% capacity. Kowalski's voice crackled over the intercom. Much more, and we risk a core breach. Chen stared at the main display, where the alien energy trail grew fainter with each passing hour. How long can we maintain this speed? Maybe 6 hours before we have to shut down for cooling. But ma'am, if we lose the trail... I know, Chief. Keep pushing it. Lieutenant Torres worked frantically at his sensor station. The alien energy signatures were unlike anything in human databases. They left traces in space itself, distortions that human sensors could barely detect. Commander, I'm losing the trail, Torres reported. The energy patterns are fading fast. Chen gripped her chair. After 3 hours of pursuit, they couldn't lose the aliens now. Can you project their course? Working on it, ma'am. Torres ran calculations on his screen. Based on their heading and speed, they could be going to several systems. Most likely. Candidates are Wolf 359, Ross 128, or Tau Ceti. Commander Roberts approached Chen's chair. Sarah, we need to consider our options. We're one ship against an unknown number of aliens with superior firepower. Chen nodded, but didn't take her eyes off the display. What's our weapons status? Tactical Officer Martinez checked his console. 2 forward plasma cannons, 4 missile tubes, and our defense grid. Standard armament for a destroyer. Against ships that can vaporize a space station in minutes, Roberts added quietly. Chen turned to her crew. 26 people, all volunteers, all trained for deep space operations. They had families back on Earth, dreams and hopes and futures. She was asking them to risk everything for revenge. I'm going to be honest with you all, Chen said. We're probably going to die out here. These aliens have technology we can't match and numbers we can't fight. Anyone who wants to object to this mission, speak now. The bridge fell silent. Chen waited, giving them time to think. Finally, Torres looked up from his console. Ma'am, My sister lived on Kepler Station. She was a teacher there. Martinez nodded. My cousin worked in the mining operations. One by one, the crew spoke up. Almost everyone had connections to Kepler Station. The colony had been humanity's pride, a symbol of their expansion into the galaxy. Then we're agreed, Chen said. We find these aliens, and we make them pay. The next few hours passed in tense silence. The Nightborne's engines strained against the laws of physics, while her crew searched for any trace of the alien fleet. Finally, Torres got a hit. Contact! I've got energy signatures in the Wolf 359 system. Definitely alien technology. Chen leaned forward. How many ships? Hard to tell from this distance. At least 20, possibly more. They're in orbit around Wolf 359b. Roberts frowned. That's the planet with the methane atmosphere. What would they want there? Fuel, maybe? Chen suggested. Or they're waiting for something. The Nightborne dropped out of quantum drive at the edge of the Wolf 359 system. Immediately, the ship's stealth systems activated. Her hull became a mirror, reflecting background starlight and masking her heat signature. Passive sensors only, Chen ordered. I don't want them to know we're here. Torres worked his console carefully. I'm reading 23 alien ships. They're maintaining a standard orbit around the planet. On the main screen, the alien fleet appeared. Each ship was a work of dark art, all sharp angles and gleaming metal. They moved with perfect coordination, like parts of a single organism. They're beautiful, someone whispered. Beautiful and deadly, Chen replied. What are they doing? Martinez studied the tactical display. It looks like they're harvesting something from the planet's atmosphere. I'm reading massive energy transfers. Chen nodded. Refueling. That means they're planning to go somewhere else. She paused. Or someone is coming to meet them. As if summoned by her words, space twisted near the alien fleet. New ships appeared, materializing out of nothing. These were even larger than the first group, massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Jesus, Roberts breathed. How many of them are there? Torres counted rapidly. 47 ships total now. And Commander, I'm picking up communications between them. Can you translate? Working on it. The computer is analyzing the patterns. Torres paused, listening to his earpiece. Ma'am, they're speaking about Earth. Chen felt ice in her veins. What about Earth? I can only pick up fragments, but they're planning something. Multiple references to primary target and final cleansing. The terrible truth hit Chen like a physical blow. Kepler Station hadn't been the main attack. It had been a test, a way to gauge human defenses. The real target was Earth itself. How? Long until they finish refueling? Chen asked. Martinez ran calculations. At their current rate, maybe 8 hours. 8 hours before a fleet of alien dreadnoughts headed for Earth. The planet had defenses, but nothing designed to fight enemies. Like this. The orbital platforms and defense stations would last minutes against alien weapons. Chen made a decision that would have gotten her court-martialed under normal circumstances. But these weren't normal circumstances. We're going to attack them, she announced. Roberts stared at her. Sarah, that's suicide. We can't fight that many ships. We can't fight them head-on, Chen agreed. But we might not have to. She turned to Torres. You said our stealth systems are different from anything they've seen. How close can we get without being detected? Torres checked his readings. Unknown, ma'am. We're running completely passive right now and they don't seem to notice us. Martinez, what's the maximum range on our missiles? 50,000 kilometers with standard warheads. But ma'am, our weapons won't penetrate their shields. Chen smiled grimly. Maybe not, but they might not need to. She studied the tactical display, looking for weaknesses. Those ships are close together, sharing energy for the refueling operation. What happens if we disrupt that process? Martinez followed her thinking. If we could cause a feedback in their power grid... Exactly. We don't need to destroy their ships. We just need to damage them enough to delay their departure. Chen laid out her plan. The Nightborne would use her stealth systems to get close to the alien fleet. They would target the energy transfer systems connecting the ships to the refueling operation. If they could cause a cascade failure... It's crazy enough that it might work, Roberts admitted. Or it might get us all killed, Martinez added. Chen nodded. Probably both. But if we don't try, Earth falls. Those are the only options. The Nightborne crept closer to the alien fleet. Her stealth systems strained to hide the ship's presence as they moved through the sensor shadows between the massive alien vessels. Chen watched the distance counter drop. 100,000 kilometers, 75,000, 50,000. Still no reaction from the aliens, Torres whispered. At 30,000 kilometers, they could see individual details on the alien ships. The hulls were covered in strange symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. Energy flowed between the vessels in visible streams of blue-white fire. 25,000 kilometers, Martinez reported. We're in missile range. Chen studied the energy flow patterns. There, at the center of the formation, a massive ship that seemed to be coordinating the refueling operation. If they could hit that one. Target the central vessel, Chen ordered. Full spread all missiles. Ma'am, once we fire, they'll know we're here, Roberts warned. I'm counting on it, Chen replied. Fire. 4 missiles streaked from the Nightborne's tubes, their engines glowing bright against the dark of space. For a moment, nothing happened. The missiles flew straight and true toward their target. Then the alien ships exploded into motion. Point defense systems came online across the fleet. Beams of energy reached out to intercept the missiles. 3 were destroyed instantly, turned to vapor by alien weapons. But the 4th missile got through. It struck the central ship's energy transfer array with a brilliant flash. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then energy began to arc wildly between the ships. The carefully controlled power flow became a chaotic storm of electricity. One by one, the alien ships began to lose power. Their perfect formation broke apart as vessels drifted away from the energy storm. Several smaller ships collided as their navigation systems failed. But Chen had no time to celebrate. Dozens of alien weapons were now turning toward the Nightborne. Emergency power to engines, Chen shouted. Get us out of here! The Nightborne's quantum drive roared to life, pushing the ship away from the alien fleet at maximum acceleration. Behind them, energy beams reached out like fingers of death, missing the human ship by meters. Damage report, Chen called. Hull integrity holding, came the reply from damage control. Some minor systems offline, but we're intact. Torres monitored the alien fleet as they escaped. Commander, the aliens are still dealing with the power feedback. It looks like several ships are completely dead in space. Chen allowed herself a small smile. They had done it. One human ship had struck at an entire alien fleet and lived to tell about it. More importantly, they had bought Earth time. But as the Nightborne fled into deep space, new contacts appeared on the sensors. More alien ships, coming from different directions. The fleet at Wolf 359 was just one part of a much larger force. How many of them are there? Roberts asked quietly. Chen stared at the sensor display, counting the new contacts. Too many, she said finally. But we've learned something important today. What's that? They can be hurt. Their technology isn't magic and their ships aren't invincible. Chen turned to her crew. We're going to send a message to Earth, warn them about the invasion, then we're going to keep hunting. Ma'am, we're just one ship, Martinez pointed out. Chen nodded. One ship, with 26 people who refuse to give up. The aliens think they know what humans are capable of. They're about to learn they're wrong. The UES Nightborne disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying with her the hopes of humanity and the promise of vengeance. behind. Them. The alien fleet slowly recovered from the attack, but the damage was done. The hunt had begun. The UES Nightborne drifted silently through an asteroid field in the Vega system. Her hull was scarred from 3 weeks of hit-and-run attacks against the alien fleet. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the war room, studying holographic displays of alien ship movements. "They're adapting to our tactics," reported Lieutenant Torres. "After our last attack, they've started using different formation patterns." Chen nodded. The aliens she now knew were called the Zephyrian Hegemony had proven to be fast learners. Each attack taught them something new about human capabilities, but it also taught the humans about alien weaknesses. "What about the supply convoy we tracked yesterday?" Chen asked. Tactical Officer Martinez pulled up new data. 6 cargo ships, 2 escorts. They're carrying something important based on the heavy security. Chen studied the information. The Zephyrians had been moving supplies through this system for days. Each convoy followed the same route, used the same security protocols. They were creatures of habit, which humans could exploit. "Chief Kowalski, how are our missile supplies?" Chen called to the engineering station. "Down to 60%, Commander. We've been burning through ammunition faster than expected." Chen frowned. The Nightborne couldn't return to Earth for resupply. The planet was preparing for invasion, and every human ship was needed for defense. They were on their own out here. "We need to get creative," Chen said. She turned to her crew. "The aliens expect us to use missiles and energy weapons. What if we didn't?" Commander Roberts raised an eyebrow. "What do you have in mind?" Chen pointed to the asteroid field around them. "Millions of rocks, each one a potential weapon. The aliens have superior technology, but they think in terms of ship-to-ship combat. What if we change the rules?" The plan Chen developed was insane by conventional military standards. Instead of attacking the alien convoy directly, they would use the asteroids themselves as weapons. The Nightborne's mining charges, designed for asteroid processing, could be modified into improvised weapons. "We turned the entire asteroid field into a minefield," Chen explained. "The aliens come through their usual route and boom." Torres looked worried. "Commander, the timing would have to be perfect. One mistake and we blow ourselves up instead of them." "Then we don't make mistakes," Chen replied simply. The crew spent 8 hours preparing. Chief Kowalski and his engineers modified mining charges and placed them throughout the asteroid field. Each charge was connected to a remote detonator and hidden inside seemingly normal rocks. Meanwhile, Torres worked on a new communications project. Using captured alien technology from their previous attacks, he had built a basic translator for Zephyrian language. "Commander, I think I can send them a message they'll understand," Torres said. Chen was intrigued. "What kind of message?" "Psychological warfare. We've been hitting them for weeks without them knowing who we are, or what we want. Maybe it's time to introduce ourselves." When the alien convoy entered the asteroid field, they found what appeared to be a normal collection of space rocks. Their sensors detected no threats, no hidden ships, no weapons. The Zephyrians proceeded along their planned route with confidence. They were halfway through the field when the first charges detonated. Asteroids exploded in sequence, creating a cascade of destruction that tore through the convoy. The cargo ships, unarmored and slow, were shredded by flying rock fragments. One escort ship tried to turn away, but flew directly into another blast zone. In minutes, the entire convoy was destroyed. As the explosions faded, Torres activated the alien communication system. His voice, translated into Zephyrian language, echoed across space. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Nightborne. You murdered 50,000 civilians at Kepler Station. We are here to collect payment for that debt." The surviving escort ship's response came quickly in accented but understandable English. "Human vessel, you cannot hide forever. The hegemony will find you and destroy you." Chen smiled grimly and took the microphone. "Good. We're tired of chasing you all over the galaxy. But next time you come looking for us, remember this. We don't fight fair, we don't follow your rules, and we never give up. Sleep well." The Nightborne vanished back into the asteroid field, leaving the alien escort to report another impossible human victory. Over the following days, Chen's psychological warfare campaign intensified. They left messages carved into asteroid surfaces, using ships' lasers. They attached transponders to destroyed alien ships that broadcast warnings in Zephyrian language. They even hacked into alien communication networks to send anonymous threats. The messages were always the same. Remember Kepler Station. Remember the price of murdering innocents. The effects were immediate. Alien convoy routes changed daily. Ships traveled in larger groups with heavier escorts. Some alien crews began requesting transfers away from human space. "It's working," Torres reported after intercepting alien communications. "Their command structure is showing signs of stress. Some ship commanders are questioning the invasion plans." But Chen knew they were walking a tightrope. Each attack brought retaliation. Attempts. The aliens were dedicating more ships to hunting the Nightborne. Sooner or later, their luck would run out. The break came when Torres intercepted a high-priority alien transmission. "Commander, you need to hear this," he said, his face pale. "The Zephyrians are sending a message to their homeworld. They're requesting immediate reinforcements for the Earth invasion." Chen felt ice in her stomach. "How many ships?" 300 additional vessels. The message says, "Human resistance is stronger than expected, and they need overwhelming force to guarantee success." The war room fell silent. 300 ships added to the invasion fleet would make Earth's defense impossible. Every human orbital platform, every defense station, every ship in the solar system wouldn't be enough. "When do the reinforcements arrive?" Chen asked quietly. Torres checked his translation. 6 days. The fleet is already en route from Zephyrian space." Chen stared at the holographic display showing alien ship positions. Somewhere out there, 300 warships were racing toward Earth. Her small crew had fought bravely, but they were just 26 people against an empire. "Ma'am," Martinez spoke up. "There might be a way to stop the reinforcements." Chen turned to him. "Explain." "The message gives the exact route the reinforcement fleet is taking. They're coming through the Proxima Centauri system to refuel before the final jump to Earth." Chen studied the star charts. Proxima Centauri was a red dwarf star with an unstable solar wind. Ships had to be careful when operating there, especially during refueling operations. "What are you thinking, Martinez?" "The same thing you taught us, ma'am. We changed the rules. Instead of fighting the ships, we fight the star itself." The plan that emerged was the most dangerous thing Chen had ever considered. They would use the Nightborne's modified mining charges to destabilize Proxima Centauri's stellar activity. If they could trigger a massive solar flare at the right moment, the radiation would disable every ship in the system, Martinez explained. It wouldn't destroy them, but they'd be dead in space for days, maybe weeks. Roberts shook his head. "Sarah, that's not warfare. That's playing with cosmic forces we don't understand." Chen looked around at her crew. They were exhausted, running, low on supplies and facing impossible odds. But they were also the only thing standing between Earth and an invasion fleet. "Chief Kowalski, can the charges create enough disruption in the star's magnetic field?" The engineer ran calculations on his console. "Maybe, Commander. We'd have to place them very precisely in the star's corona. The radiation alone would probably kill us." "What about the ship's shielding? It might protect us for a few minutes. But ma'am, once we trigger those flares, every ship in the system becomes a target, including us." Chen nodded. She had expected as much. "How long do we have before the alien fleet arrives at Proxima?" 18 hours, Torres reported. Chen made her decision. "Set course for Proxima Centauri. All hands, prepare for solar operations. As the Nightborne accelerated toward the red dwarf star, Chen composed a message for Earth. It would be transmitted on a delayed beacon, reaching home only after their mission was complete. Admiral Reed, this is Commander Chen reporting. We have confirmed that a Zephyrian reinforcement fleet of 300 ships is en route to Earth. We are attempting to disable this fleet before it reaches the solar system. If we succeed, Earth will have a fighting chance. If we fail, well, we tried our best. She paused, thinking of her crew, her ship, and the choice they had made. The aliens think they can terrorize humanity into submission. They believe we'll break under pressure and surrender when faced with superior numbers. They're wrong. Humans don't break. We adapt, we improvise, and we never stop fighting. Remember Kepler Station. Remember what we're fighting for. The message. Beacon launched as the Nightborne approached Proxima Centauri. The red dwarf star loomed ahead, its surface crackling with magnetic storms and solar flares. Somewhere beyond it, 300 alien warships were racing toward Earth. Chen looked at her crew one last time. Everyone ready? 26 voices answered as one. Ready, Commander. Then let's go teach these aliens what happens when they threaten our home. The UES Nightborne dove toward the burning heart of Proxima Centauri, carrying with her the hopes of humanity and the promise that sometimes the smallest ships could cast the longest shadows. The UES Nightborne shuddered as she entered Proxima Centauri's outer atmosphere. The red dwarf star's corona crackled around the ship, sending waves of radiation against her shields. Commander Sarah Chen gripped her chair as the bridge displays flickered and sparked. Shield strength at 60% and falling, reported Chief Kowalski from engineering. Hull temperature is climbing fast. Chen watched the main display, where Proxima Centauri's surface boiled with magnetic storms. Solar flares erupted constantly, sending streams of charged particles racing into space. It was like flying into the mouth of a dragon. Time until the alien fleet arrives? Chen asked. Lieutenant Torres checked his calculations, fighting to keep his instruments stable in the electromagnetic chaos. 4 hours, Commander. They'll drop out of hyperspace at the edge of the system and approach the star for refueling. Chen nodded. 4 hours to plant their charges and get into position. 4 hours to turn a star into a weapon. Martinez, how are the targeting calculations? Tactical Officer Martinez worked frantically at his console, running simulations over and over. The star's magnetic field is incredibly complex, ma'am. We need to place the charges at exact points to create a resonance cascade. The plan was theoretical at best. By detonating modified mining charges at specific points in the star's corona, they hoped to destabilize the magnetic field enough to trigger massive solar flares. The radiation from those flares would disable every electronic system within millions of kilometers. Commander, we're approaching the first deployment point, announced Navigator Williams. Chen looked at the display showing their target. A swirling vortex of superheated plasma where magnetic field lines twisted together. The temperature outside was over 2 million degrees. Even with their shields, the Nightborne could only survive minutes in this environment. Deploy Charge 1, Chen ordered. Chief Kowalski triggered the release mechanism. A modified mining charge, wrapped in extra shielding and equipped with a quantum transmitter, drifted away from the ship. It would sink deeper into the corona until it reached the optimal detonation point. Charge 1 away, Kowalski reported. Signal strength is good. The Nightborne moved to the next position, racing against time and the star's deadly embrace. Their shields were failing faster than expected. The red dwarf's radiation was different from anything in their databases, more intense and chaotic. Shield strength at 30%, Kowalski warned. We're taking hull damage. Chen could feel the heat seeping through the bulkheads. The air itself seemed to glow with an orange tint. But they had 7 more charges to place, and the alien fleet was getting closer. Deploy Charge 2, she ordered. One by one, the charges were planted throughout Proxima Centauri's corona. Each placement brought them deeper into the star's deadly atmosphere. By the time they deployed the eighth and final charge, the Nightborne's shields were at 5% and failing. "Get us out of here," Chen commanded. The ship's engines roared as they climbed away from the star's surface. Behind them, 8 quantum beacons marked the positions of their charges, ready to detonate on command. "Shield failure in 30 seconds, Kowalski announced. Williams pushed the engines beyond their safety limits. The Nightborne clawed her way out of the corona, her hull glowing cherry red from the intense heat. Alarms wailed throughout the ship as systems overloaded and failed. They cleared the star's atmosphere with seconds to spare. The ship drifted in space, her crew breathing hard and checking for damage. "Hull integrity holding," came the damage report. "Multiple system failures. But we're alive." Chen allowed herself a moment of relief. Now came the waiting. 2 hours later, space twisted at the edge of the system. The Zephyrian reinforcement fleet materialized in perfect formation. 300 warships of various sizes, from nimble destroyers to massive dreadnoughts. Their dark hulls gleamed in the red light of Proxima Centauri. "My God," Roberts whispered. "Look at them all." The alien fleet was a sight to inspire terror. Each ship was a masterpiece of destructive engineering, bristling with weapons that could level cities. Together they represented enough firepower to burn Earth to a cinder. Chen studied the tactical display as the alien fleet approached the star. Their formation was perfect, their movements coordinated. They showed no fear, no hesitation. To them, this was just another routine refueling stop before their final assault on humanity. "They're beginning refueling operations," Martinez reported. "All ships are connecting to the stellar collection arrays." This was the moment Chen had been waiting for. The alien ships were locked in place, drawing fuel directly from the star's plasma streams. Their shields were configured for radiation protection, not combat. They were vulnerable. "Torres, open a channel to the alien fleet," Chen ordered. "Ma'am, they'll detect us the moment we transmit. I'm counting on it." The communication channel crackled to life. Chen's voice echoed across space, translated into Zephyrian by Torres's improvised system. "Attention, Zephyrian fleet. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Nightborne. You are fueling at a star rigged with explosive charges. Withdraw immediately, or face the consequences." The response came quickly, transmitted from the fleet's flagship. The voice was cold and mechanical, typical of Zephyrian commanders. "Human vessel, you lie. No ship can survive in a star's corona long enough to plant such devices. Surrender now and your death will be swift." Chen smiled grimly. "You want proof? Watch and learn." She nodded to Martinez, who activated the first charge. Deep in Proxima Centauri's corona, the modified mining charge detonated. The explosion was tiny compared to the star's massive energy output, but it was precisely placed. The blast disrupted a key magnetic field line, creating a cascade effect. The star's surface erupted. A massive solar flare burst from Proxima Centauri, racing outward at a significant fraction of light speed. The stream of charged particles and radiation spread like a cosmic tsunami, heading directly for the refueling alien fleet. "All charges detonate now," Chen commanded. 7 more explosions rippled through the star's corona. Each one triggered additional flares until Proxima Centauri looked like an angry god hurling spears of fire into space. The alien fleet tried to react. Ships began disconnecting from their refueling lines and powering up their engines. But they were too late. The first solar flare struck the Zephyrian formation like the hammer of heaven. Ships that had been glowing with power went dark instantly. Their shields collapsed, their weapons failed, their engines died. One by one, 300 warships became lifeless hulks drifting in space. Chen watched the destruction with grim satisfaction. The alien reinforcement fleet was neutralized. Earth would have its fighting chance. But the Nightborne wasn't safe either. The same radiation that disabled the alien ships was racing toward them. "Emergency power to shields," Chen ordered. "All hands, brace for impact." The solar storm hit, the Nightborne like a physical blow. The ship tumbled end over end as radiation overloaded her systems. The lights went out, artificial gravity failed, and the air recyclers stopped working. In the darkness of the bridge, Chen could hear her crew struggling to restore power. Emergency lights flickered on, casting eerie shadows on damaged consoles. "Damage report," Chen called out. "Main power is down," Kowalski reported from somewhere in the darkness. "Backup systems are failing one by one. We've got maybe 6 hours of life support left." Chen felt around for her command chair and pulled herself into it. They had done it. 300 alien warships were dead in space, unable to continue their mission to Earth. But the victory had come at a cost. "Can we signal Earth?" Chen asked. Torres was working by flashlight at his console. "No, ma'am. The communications array is fried. We're cut off." Chen nodded. She had expected as much. The solar flares that disabled the alien fleet would have the same effect on human ships. But that was acceptable. Earth's defenses would recover long before the aliens could. Repair their fleet. "Commander," Martinez called out, "I'm reading something strange on passive sensors." "What kind of strange?" "One of the alien ships is still active. It's moving toward us." Chen felt her blood chill. If even one Zephyrian ship had survived, the solar storm. "How is that possible?" "Unknown, ma'am, but it's definitely under power and heading our way." Chen made a decision. The Nightborne was crippled, her weapons offline, her shields down, but she still had one weapon left, herself. "Chief Kowalski, can you get me ramming speed?" "Ma'am, the engines are dead. We're running on emergency thrusters only." Chen studied the tactical display, calculating vectors and velocities. The alien ship was approaching slowly, probably as damaged as they were. If she could time it right. "All hands prepare for collision. We're going to ram them!" Roberts grabbed her arm. "Sarah, that's suicide. Even if we destroy them, we'll be killed in the impact." Chen looked at her friend and first officer. "Marcus, that alien ship is the only survivor of a 300 ship invasion fleet. If it escapes, it can warn the hegemony about our tactics. Earth loses its advantage." She turned to address her crew. "Everyone listen. We've done something impossible today. We turned a star into a weapon and stopped an entire invasion fleet. But our job isn't finished yet." The alien ship loomed larger on their screens. It was a destroyer, similar in size to the Nightborne. Its hull was blackened and scarred from the solar storm, but it was definitely functional. "Ma'am," Torres reported, "the alien ship is transmitting to us." "Put it through." The Zephyrian commander's voice filled the bridge. When translated, his words were cold and bitter. "Human vessel, you have committed an act of cosmic terrorism. You have weaponized a star itself. This will not be forgotten." Chen took the microphone. "Good. Remember this moment. Remember what happens when you threaten Earth. You came here to destroy my people, and instead you found only death in the fire of a star. Your ship is crippled, human. You cannot escape." Chen smiled in the darkness of her bridge. "Who said anything about escaping?" She nodded to Kowalski, who triggered the emergency thrusters. The Nightborne lurched forward, accelerating toward the alien destroyer on a collision course. The Zephyrian ship tried to turn away, but it was too slow. Solar radiation had damaged its maneuvering systems. The two ships rushed toward each other like ancient knights charging with lances. "All hands, brace for impact," Chen announced. "It's been an honor serving with you all." The UES Nightborne struck the alien destroyer amidships at over 1,000 meters per second. Both ships crumpled like tin cans, their hulls tearing apart in a shower of sparks and debris. The fusion reactors on both vessels went critical simultaneously. The explosion lit up Proxima Centauri's star system like a second sun. When the light faded, Nothing remained but cooling wreckage and the memory of 26 humans who had changed the course of a war. In the distance, 300 alien warships drifted powerless in space, their crews slowly working to repair systems damaged by humanity's most desperate gambit. The reinforcement fleet would never reach Earth. And somewhere in the cosmic dark, the story of the UES Nightborne began its journey home, carried by the light of an angry star and the sacrifice of a crew that refused to surrender. Admiral Marcus Reed stood in the war room of Luna Command, staring at the holographic display that showed Earth's defensive positions. 3 months had passed since the battle at Proxima Centauri, and the solar system buzzed with preparation for war. "Admiral, incoming priority transmission from the outer sensor grid," announced Communications Officer Park. Reed turned from the display. "Put it through." The message was garbled and weak, transmitted from a probe near the edge of the system. But the words were clear enough to send chills down Reed's spine. "This is Automated Beacon 77 Alpha. Detecting massive hyperspace signatures approaching the solar system. Count is... Jesus. Over 400 ships. Repeat, 400 alien vessels inbound, estimated arrival in 6 hours. Reed felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. The Zephyrian invasion fleet had finally arrived. Without the reinforcements destroyed at Proxima Centauri, they had been forced to gather ships from across their empire. Now they came in overwhelming force. "General quarters throughout the system," Reed ordered. "All ships to battle stations. Activate the Mars defense grid and the asteroid belt platforms." Earth's defenses were impressive by human standards. Orbital battle stations ringed the planet, armed with plasma cannons and missile arrays. The asteroid belt had been turned into a fortress, with weapons platforms hidden among the rocks. Mars hosted a fleet of fast attack ships, ready to strike at enemy flanks, but against 400 alien warships, it might not be enough. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet," Park reported. Reed straightened his uniform. "Put it on the main screen." The holographic display flickered, then showed the bridge of a massive Zephyrian dreadnought. The alien commander was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and dark eyes that seemed to hold the cold of space itself. "I am Fleet Commander Zalthar of the Hegemony 4th Battle Fleet," the alien said in perfect English. "You will surrender your planet immediately. Resistance will result in complete extermination." Reed stepped forward, his voice steady despite the fear in his gut. "This is Admiral Marcus Reed, commanding the Solar Defense Force. Earth does not surrender. If you want our world, you'll have to take it." Zalthar's expression didn't change. "Your species has proven troublesome. The destruction of our refueling depot and the loss of the reinforcement fleet will not go unpunished. We will glass your planet and scatter your atoms across space." "You're welcome to try," Reed replied. "But you might want to ask the crews at Kepler Station how that worked out for them." "Oh, wait. You can't. They're all dead." For the first time, emotion flickered across the alien commander's face. "Anger, cold and terrible. You will learn the price of defying the hegemony," Zalthar said. The transmission cut to static. Reed turned to his staff. "All ships, prepare for battle. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every human colony, every space station, every child who dreams of seeing the stars. Make them count." The Zephyrian fleet dropped out of hyperspace like a plague of locusts. 400 ships spread across the outer solar system, their dark hulls blotting out the stars. They moved with purpose, heading directly for Earth, but they had underestimated human ingenuity. "Admiral, the enemy fleet is approaching the asteroid belt," reported the tactical officer. Reed smiled grimly. "Good. Spring the trap." Throughout the asteroid belt, weapons platforms that had been disguised as mining stations suddenly came to life. Hundreds of missile launchers, plasma cannons, and rail guns opened fire simultaneously. The space between Mars and Jupiter lit up with weapons fire. The Zephyrian fleet, expecting minimal resistance in the outer system, found themselves in a killing field. Several ships exploded immediately, caught off guard by the intensity of human firepower. But the aliens adapted quickly. Their return fire was devastating, turning asteroid bases into clouds of glowing vapor. The initial surprise only lasted minutes before Zephyrian discipline reasserted itself. First wave defensive positions are taking heavy casualties, reported the tactical officer. But we're giving better than we're getting. Reed nodded. The asteroid belt defenses had been designed as a delaying action, not a battle winner. Their job was to thin out the alien fleet and force them to reveal their tactics. Sir, the Mars. Defense fleet is requesting permission to engage, came another report. Granted. Tell Admiral Chen to hit them hard and fast. Sarah Chen's older sister, Admiral Lisa Chen, commanded the Mars Defense Fleet. Like her sister, she believed in aggressive tactics and hitting the enemy where they didn't expect it. 50 human destroyers and cruisers erupted from hidden positions around Mars. They used the planet's gravity well to slingshot themselves at incredible speeds toward the alien fleet's flank. The maneuver was dangerous and required split-second timing, but it worked. The human ships struck the Zephyrian formation like a hammer blow. Their weapons, designed for close-range fighting, tore into alien hulls at point-blank range. Several Zephyrian dreadnoughts found themselves under attack from multiple directions, their shields overloaded by concentrated fire. But the victory was short-lived. The alien fleet's superior numbers began to tell. Human ships, brave as they were, couldn't match Zephyrian firepower ship for ship. One by one, the Mars fleet began to fall back toward Earth. Admiral, the alien fleet is breaking through our outer defenses, the tactical officer reported. They'll be in Earth orbit in 3 hours. Reed studied the battle display. The human forces had fought magnificently, destroying over 60 alien ships. But there were still more than 300 Zephyrian vessels heading for Earth. Activate the lunar defense grid, Reed ordered. All orbital platforms to full alert, and send the recall signal to the Deep Space Patrol. Throughout the outer system, human ships began falling back toward Earth. They fought a running battle using hit-and-run tactics learned from studying the Nightborne's final reports. The aliens pursued, but cautiously now. They had learned to respect human unpredictability. As the fleets approached Earth, the planet's defenses came fully online. Orbital platforms bristled with weapons, their guns tracking the incoming alien ships. The moon's hidden missile silos opened, revealing launch tubes that could fire projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. But the real surprise came from an unexpected source. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the outer system, Park announced, excitement in his voice. It's not from our ships. Put it through. The main screen showed a collection of alien vessels, but not Zephyrian. These ships were sleek and graceful, with hulls that seemed to shimmer like water. Greetings, humans of Earth, came the transmission. The voice was melodious, almost musical. I am Commander Lyra of the Aquatic Confederation. We have come to offer assistance in your fight against the hegemony. Reed stared at the screen. You're not Zephyrian. Indeed not. The hegemony has oppressed our people for centuries. When word spread of your resistance, our council voted to intervene. The galaxy watches to see if tyranny can be defeated. More ships appeared on the sensors, dozens of different designs representing species Reed had never heard of, all of them moving toward Earth. How many ships? Reed asked quietly. 147 vessels from 12 different species, came the reply. All volunteers, all committed to ending hegemony expansion. Reed felt hope surge in his chest. Humanity wasn't alone after all. The final battle began as the combined fleets met in Earth orbit. Zephyrian dreadnoughts traded fire with alien allies, while human ships darted between the giants like wolves among bears. The space around Earth became a maelstrom of energy beams, explosions, and debris. Fleet Commander Zalthar watched from his flagship as his seemingly certain victory slipped away. The humans had allies, species he thought were cowed into submission. Worse, the human tactics were spreading. Allied ships began using the same unpredictable maneuvers that had made the Nightborne so dangerous. "Sir, we're receiving a priority transmission from Hegemony Command," his communications officer reported. Zalthar activated the channel, expecting reinforcements or new orders. Instead, he heard chaos. "All fleet commanders, this is Hegemony Central Command. We are under attack on multiple fronts. The Aquatic Confederation has launched a general uprising. The Crystalline Collective has declared independence. Fleet movements are being disrupted throughout the Empire. All invasion forces are ordered to return to defend hegemony space immediately." Zalthar stared at the message in disbelief. The human resistance had sparked something bigger. Across the galaxy, oppressed species were rising up against their hegemony overlords. "Sir, what are your orders?" his tactical officer asked. Zalthar looked at the battle raging around Earth. His fleet was being torn apart by the combined human-alien alliance. Even if he won here, he would return to find his empire in flames. "Signal the fleet," he said finally. "We withdraw." Order rippled through the Zephyrian fleet. One by one, the alien ships began to disengage from combat. They formed up in retreat formation and activated their hyperspace drives, but Admiral Reed wasn't finished with them. "All ships pursue and harass," he ordered. "Don't let them leave in good order." Human and allied vessels chased the retreating Zephyrians to the edge of the solar system, striking at stragglers and damaged ships. By the time the alien fleet escaped into hyperspace, fewer than 200 vessels remained. In the aftermath, Earth orbit was filled with celebration. Human ships flew alongside alien allies, exchanging greetings and sharing stories of the battle. The Aquatic Confederation had brought not just military aid, but news from across the galaxy. "The Hegemony Empire is collapsing," Commander Lyra explained to Admiral Reed. "Your resistance at Kepler Station, the destruction of the reinforcement, fleet, and now this victory have inspired dozens of species to revolt. The galaxy is free." Reed thought of Commander Sarah Chen and the crew of the Nightborne. 26 people who had refused to accept defeat, who had turned their ship into a weapon and their courage into legend. "Commander Lyra, there's something you should know," Reed said. "The real heroes of this war aren't here to see the victory. They died fighting impossible odds at a star called Proxima Centauri." Lyra nodded solemnly. "Their story has already spread throughout the galaxy. The tale of the ship that turned a star into a weapon, that sacrificed itself to save its home. Many species now call it the greatest military action in galactic history." Reed smiled sadly. They would have laughed at that. They were just doing their job. As Earth began to rebuild and establish formal relations with its new allies, the main story of the UES Nightborne continued to spread. Human naval academies taught courses on asymmetric warfare based on Chen's tactics. Allied species studied human psychology to understand how 26 people could face down an empire. But perhaps the most fitting memorial came from an unexpected source. The Zephyrian survivors, scattered and defeated, carried with them a new word in their language, Shanri, meaning the courage to fight impossible odds. It was a word that would outlive empires and span the stars, a reminder that sometimes the smallest ships cast the longest shadows, and that those who fight for freedom never truly die. The war was over. The galaxy was free. And somewhere in the cosmic dark, the spirit of the UES Nightborne sailed on, carried by the light of distant stars and the eternal human refusal to surrender.